A very good and happy Tuesday morning across all of you in the Wobbles community and beyond. Landon here with you to bring you your latest weather or not forecast courtesy of On Target. Folks, another day of extreme heat and humidity, but relief is on the horizon, quite literally. That is the good news. You can see ongoing out there early this morning, we're underneath mostly clear skies. We got a cold front that slowly but surely making its way south and east towards the region. This cold front is going to be making it through here late this afternoon and on into our Wednesday. It's going to be bringing a bit of relief behind that cold front, but folks, for even better news, we're looking at another stronger cold front working through here this weekend that's going to bring our first little taste of fall-like temperatures to the region. Excitement, I know. Calm yourselves. We'll get to that here in just a moment, all right? Let's get a look across the region. D93 Skycam overlooking a beautiful view early this morning. Right over Cherry Hall there on top of the hill. WKU kicked off their classes yesterday. Hope all the students out there have a great second day as they head out there. Early this morning, Barren River Lake Skycam showcasing the crystal clear skies over the state dock down in that direction. Again, we got some haziness hovering right there above the vegetation, above the trees. Be aware we could have a few instances of a little bit of fog in a few locations out there. Getting a look at the current setup and our current situation, we're going to get a gander at those current conditions. You already know what the readings are, folks. They've been this way for the past several weeks. We are hitting right around the 70-degree mark, both in the temperature and dew point department. Today, going to remain a very, very hot and humid at dangerous levels. We're looking at triple-digit heat indices again as we work into this afternoon. But then, a little bit of shower and storm coverage to come along with it overnight and then into our Wednesday. Then we're going to get that first taste of a little bit of relief before the more noticeable difference arrives as we work and we progress on throughout the weekend. All right, let's jump right into it and let's break down exactly what we're going to be watching. First and foremost, the dangerous heat indices today. We work into this afternoon, folks. This has us hitting at or above 90 degrees as far as the heat index is concerned at some point in time between 9 and 10 a.m. So we're going to warm up very, very quickly today. Here we are rolling into the peak heating of this afternoon. We're going to be looking at 103, 105 degree readings out there. These are dangerous levels, folks, so if you're going to be outside for extended periods of time, please take note of that and take the necessary precautions. Obviously, with the loss of daytime heating, we have that sink down here and the dangerous heat and humidity will be going away. Taking a look here at the surface setup, this is what our eyes are going to be on because here we are working throughout the overnight and here we are getting into very early on Wednesday morning. You can obviously see we got that area of high pressure located to our north, folks. That's what we're going to be keeping our very close eyes on. And we have got the deep southerly flow coming in here. Cold front out of the north and west is going to be a firing mechanism to spawn off these sporadic, widely scattered shower and storm chances. And again, that should be holding off until late this afternoon and throughout the overnight. But high pressure to our north, clockwise flow, good, turning in a northerly wind component behind that cold front. That is what is going to be bringing some sweet relief across the region. So as the cold front comes through here, let's keep an eye on this. Here we are working into the peak heating of this afternoon, and you see the reflectivity begin to blossom right along the Ohio River. This activity is going to be sliding down to the south and east along and right ahead of that passing cool front. And you can see as we work throughout the late afternoon on into this evening and throughout the overnight, we get a few strong storms that could be impacting the Wobbles community. All right, we're not expecting any sort of widespread severe weather. We might have a storm or two become strong to marginally severe. Gusty winds, frequent lightning, excessive rainfall. You all know the name of the game. It's a typical summer-like air mass thunderstorms that should be coming along with this, all right? By the time we work throughout our Wednesday, folks, that cold front should work down to our south and east, mitigating all the moisture down there and keeping the storm coverage south of the region for the vast majority of our Wednesday, especially around the mid-morning into the midday time frame. And then that continues to scoot off down to the south and east with a cold front continuing to push in that direction. Let's get a look at the 18 to 20,000 feet up above our head, all right? We have Hurricane Aaron over here that's going to be pinwheeling and jolting and deflecting back out into the Atlantic. That is the good news. We do have some tropical storm watches up for the Carolinas here, up into Virginia. But it looks like it's going to stay off of the mainland. That is the good news. But for us here in Kentucky, we're keeping eyes on this large pinwheeling upper level ridge. Keep your eyes on this, folks, because as we work into this weekend, this ridge is going to retrograde a bit more. It's going to open up the door for this giant trough to dive right down here into the Great Lakes and into the Midwest region as we work throughout the weekend. We're going to keep it hot as we work into our Thursday and Friday. We'll still be looking at highs right around the upper 80s to lower 90s. But folks, look at the weekend. Here we are getting into Saturday. It'll stay warm out there, but as we get into Saturday night on into Sunday, this trough is going to set up shop, and this is going to allow for a moisture-deprived but stout cold front to blast south and east through this northwest flow aloft. We're going to be looking at a noticeable difference on the dew point, humidity, and temperature front with this trough setting up shop here, folks. Here we are looking at Sunday night into Monday morning, and watch. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We continue to keep this trough in place. This means we're going to be experiencing a big old sigh of relief for the extended period, maybe even a week, starting around this coming Sunday and Monday, and then lasting over the next 6 to 7 days with this trough that's being locked in here across the northeast U.S. Obviously, we'll have some subtle disturbances that could be bringing some hit-miss storm chances along with it. But folks, the real weather story, dare I say it, Sunday night into Monday morning, we could be looking at readings down into the 50s on the temperature front. Might even want a light jacket if you're enjoying your coffee very early on Monday morning, with Monday afternoon highs potentially not escaping the 70s. Drink it in. That always goes down smooth. Folks, I'm looking forward to this relief from this heat and humidity. I hope that you all are as well. We've been having to put up with it for a torrid amount of time, if you ask me, and it's about time that the cooler temperatures arrived here. This will be more like our first taste of fall rolling into the early days of next week, and we will take all of that we can get, all right? Let's jump over here and let's talk about the short term, and we are keeping our eyes on that cold front this afternoon into early Wednesday morning. You can see the northwestern half of Butler County, the very, very far northwest corner of Logan County, included in a 1 out of 5 of severe weather risk. Again, folks, we don't have enough shear that's going to keep storms organized. We could have these blossoming air mass storms. Efficient rainfall, gusty winds, and lightning remain the primary concerns with any storms that do impact the region. Keeping eyes on the tropics. Aaron's going to pull up and then deflect back out off to the Atlantic, but we've got another disturbance that's been given a 60% probability of developing into a tropical cyclone here over the next 7 days. Another wave coming off the far west coast of Africa with a 30% probability. The tropics have definitely come alive as we enter the peak hurricane season here. Obviously going to be keeping very close eyes over in that direction here as these weather makers evolve over the course of the next week or so. Total rainfall amounts this afternoon and throughout the overnight into early Wednesday morning. It's going to be another game of the storm roulette. Anywhere from 1/4 of an inch for some of us. I think a few of us might not even get anything at all out of this, so please take note of that. But a few tenths of an inch out of this, maybe upwards of a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch if you're lucky enough to get caught underneath those storms. We could use a little bit of rain with that being said, but the sense of relief will be coming here in the arrival of those much cooler temperatures and lower dew points that we have been waiting so patiently for. Here's a full breakdown of your next 6-day weather forecast for today. Extremely hot and humid, dangerous levels, mid and upper 90s in the temperature department, triple-digit heat indices are a guarantee. We got scattered storm chances arriving late this afternoon, continuing all the way through the morning hours of our Wednesday. The cold front's going to pass in time. You'll see there we'll only make it to around the 90-degree mark for highs. Right around the mid-80s on Thursday, we'll be up to around 90 Friday into Saturday with the isolated storm chances returning. Then the vigorous cold front passes through here, folks. Look at Sunday. Not going to get out of the mid-80s for highs, and although you cannot see Monday, Currently have a forecast high of 79 degrees with dew points down into the upper 40s up to around the low to mid 50s. Bring it on. That's all I have to say about that. Friends, it's going to wrap up your Tuesday morning weather or not forecast presented by none other than On Target. You all take care of yourselves and each other. Have a blessed second to the work week.